Thank you, John, and good to see a crowd here and finally see a lot of people together in person. I'm going to focus on Plan A as far as endurance is concerned, and that's the Reliance Gold Project in Goldbridge, BC, which is an emerging discovery in an historic camp. Our corporate disclosure, and I will be making some forward-looking statements. So just a little bit of background to the company. I'll get into corporate structure at the end if there's time. We're an opportunity generator with pre-existing projects that we have divested in the past for cash shares and our royalties, such as our Rattlesnake Hills, which became a key part of GFG, the Pardo Paleoplacer Gold Project, which is now owned by Inventus Mining. And we currently have 100% controlled projects like the Elephant Mountain Plan B gold project in central Alaska, where we've gotten some pretty good intersections, 0.4 over 147 meters in a large gold system, and our Bandito Rare Earth Niobium project. But I'll focus this presentation on the Reliance Project, which is the exploration and funding focus for our company. The Reliance Project's located due north of Vancouver, about 220 kilometer drive in the summer. It's a 4-hour summer drive, and it's located next about 10 kilometers north of the Braylorn Pioneer Mine, which is the largest historic gold producer in the province of British Columbia of over 4 million ounces of gold. And our property is located near the town of Goldbridge, 4 kilometers east of the town of Goldbridge, south of BC Hydro Reservoir at Carpenter Lake, and another hydro reservoir to the south west of the project. So it's a very well located, accessible year-round, and we see easy potential to keep the project active year-round with activities. So some highlights on the project. It's a 100% option. It's discovery stage. We require, in order to earn our interest, require the payment of EDG shares, cash, and expenditures, and it will be subject to a 1% NSR after the buy-down. Historic exploration between 85 and 2008 primarily focused on only about 100 meters of strike of this really strong alteration system that we've identified, and it was never systematically explored by the prior owner in that period of time. And starting in 2020, after we optioned the property, we completed the first soil survey for gold that had been done on the property, surprisingly enough. We also did a biogeochemical survey, airborne, the systematic work that hadn't been done, like airborne and ground magnetics, LIDAR to help with the topographic controls, and an IP survey. And we've now expanded that system potential to 2 kilometers based on what we've identified. We followed that up with sampling on surface and got very excellent channel sampling results, which resulted in us following up with a reverse circulation drilling program in 2 phases where we've completed 51 holes. We got excellent RC drill results, including holes from surface, including 14 grams over 15 meters, and I'll go into some details. And now we've just finished a 22-hole diamond drilling program where we're awaiting assays, and our expectations is that we'll be moving into a significant 2022 drill program for next year. So we have an orogenic gold system, and in fact it's an epizonal orogenic gold system, and that's the Braylorn deposit is an orogenic gold system, and actually covered in a lot of the literature about orogenic gold systems. It's at a mid-level or a mesozonal type level of a system. It produced over 4 million ounces. It's in one of these areas where we had one of the major continental collisions that occurred in the world, occurred in this area, creating these compressional structural regimes which are ideal for orogenic gold systems. And what we're exploring is the Reliance, which is a higher level exposure in these same kind of systems where we have brittle deformation, breccias, plexus of stockwork, things like that. So it's not a high-grade narrow vein system, but rather a wide breccia and brittle deformation system that's higher level, which has an antimony signature versus no antimony signature in the deeper exposures in orogenic systems. So we've now identified a gold antimony system now with breccia, silicification, sulfidization, channel samples. I've already mentioned that we did those, and those include on surface in historic road cuts that were never sampled by the prior owners because the systematic work wasn't done, of 5.89 grams over 31 meters, 4.88 over 23.5, and then drilling that we've done on the Eagle Zone, which is a new discovery under those outcrops, where we got in intersections like the 14 I mentioned over 15 meters, and 4 more that I list there. And then the Imperial Zone, which is a zone that was known from the historic work. Most exploration was done on that between 1985 and 1988. And they got some very good intersections on that in a 2008 program, which include intersections like 13 grams over 4.2 meters, but it was never drilled shallow, and we drilled some shallow intersections on that as well. Made a new discovery as part of our RC work, including the Diplomat Zone. We got 16.5 grams over 4.6 meters. And then, so all in all, we've turned this from a 100-meter long system into a 1.5 kilometer long system of gold and bedrock alteration, significant alteration system, 100 to 300 meters wide, within about a 2-kilometer biogeochem anomaly that tells us that there's likely potential of at least 2 kilometers on this system. So the key thing is that we've got a structural complexity here. The Eagle Zone in particular is a minus 35-degree southwest dipping structure, and the Imperial Zone is more of a steeper minus 70 or minus 80-degree structure. So that adds the structural complexity and also real potential for the system to develop at depth as we continue to explore below the touching the surface that's only been done so far. This shows you the strong linear associated with the Royal Shear, where we've identified the Diplomat discovery, the Imperial Zone, which had the historic work, and the Eagle Zone, where we've made discoveries on the southeastern extension. We're now looking southeast over the Carpenter Lake, which is a hydro reservoir, and there are parallel structures in here. All of this is part of the complex continental collision area that occurred in this area of British Columbia. The Royal Shear is the key area we're focusing on, and associated with that is a very strong iron carbonate and sericite alteration, which is causing this buff coloration in this photo, turning the rock into iron carbonate alteration. So this is a longitudinal projection of that same structure, now looking east, that just shows you where we've put all the 2021 diamond drill holes are shown on here, and all historic gold intersections of work we've done in our RC and historic work in red show where the gold intersections are. And really a lack of exploration, both the long trend, along strike and at depth, indicates that this has got potential to be a much bigger system and is really just unexplored at this point. Our assays are pending for all these holes on this intersection. So there's the 1.5 kilometers that we've demonstrated with gold in bedrock. The yellow on there are projections of the soil geochem, indicating there's still zones on there that remain to be explained with good systematic continued exploration and drilling. So of our 51 RC holes that we completed in late 20 and 2021, we got our assays in June. Significant gold intersections in 41 of the 51 holes, and that's intersections in excess of 3 meters of 2 grams. And Eagle Zone was a particular discovery that we made with that, where we got a footprint of the shallow dipping structure, as mentioned, and that averages about 4.6 grams per ton over an estimated average true width of 16 meters within that footprint, and it's wide open to the southeast, and daylight's on surface, hence those channel samples that we got. Imperial Zone, we demonstrated the up-plunge potential with our work this year and made this new discovery at Diplomat, which I've already mentioned. So this kind of shows now looking at a plan map with the Carpenter Lake at the top end of the slide, which isn't shown on here. But the pink is the alteration that exists over this 1.5 kilometer trend with the key zones that we've identified at Diplomat, Imperial, and Eagle showing on here, and how the system's still wide open to expansion to the southeast. I'll just go into detail a little bit more in this Eagle area, which is on the southeast end, and where we're opening up the system now with significant new systematic, well-funded exploration activity. So this is just a plan of the actual Eagle Zone showing the projected gold intersections both in channel samples and the RC drill holes projected to surface on a shallow dipping plane. And I'm going to just show you two intersections of what these zones look like on this steep hillside. The zone, based on our RC work, was still open at the southeast, was at 8.95 grams over 3 meters. And that's the area we've been exploring with our diamond drilling. And the two sections at the north end show the zone daylighting on the side of a hill, dipping at about minus 35 degrees on a 30-degree dip slope. And the second section just shows you that zone as it dips back into the hill where you have unmineralized stuff near surface and intersections like as shown, which include 14 grams over, I can't quite read it from here, but significant intersections there showing wide open to the southeast, and that's a key importance of what we're trying to understand. This is a structurally complex area, although the alteration isn't shown on there. Pretty much this whole slide section is iron carbonate and sericite altered. So we transitioned into a diamond drilling program and completed 22 holes, 16 in the Eagle area, 6 at the Imperial Zone, and several greater than 10-meter wide intercepts of mineralized breccias. All of our gold assays are pending, and the first results are expected in November and December. And we're continuing with core cutting, just is wrapping up right now with the last of our shipments out within the next week or two. So this just shows what the zone looks like on surface now that we've drilled. We've got opened up about a 400-meter trend based on our diamond drilling. Although we're waiting for assay results, it looks like we've opened up that Eagle Zone, at least doubled the strike length of that Eagle Zone, and may open it up for at least a 400-meter long expansion based on what we're seeing on surface in some prospecting on new roads that we just finished completing, putting into this area to access this area in October. So this just shows you what some of the mineralization looks like in those holes on the new zone that we've identified, which is probably a strike extent of the Eagle Zone. And we get these very complicated structural breccias of multi-generation breccias and silicification and mostly sulfidization of country rock, which is the material that's carrying the gold. So just to summarize, that's sort of what back to the longitudinal. And that drill hole, I just showed you photos there, but we also have several other drill holes in some of our prior press releases that we highlighted at hole number 6 and 09 with our drilling this year, showing that we're opening this system up. And all of these are holes and intersections that are relatively shallow. I think the deepest there might be 100 meters below surface on one of these holes that I'm showing. At this point, most of them are less than 50 meters below surface. So we've got an outstanding new exploration discovery in an historically productive million-ounce orogenic gold camp. We've got wide pervasive iron carbonate sericite alteration. Breccia and antimony indicate an epizonal orogenic setting in a brittle structural regime, and this is fairly similar to epizonal comparables at Fort Fosterville and these new recent Newfoundland discoveries. Model provides an excellent potential for a major gold mining system with depth. We've only scratched the surface here, and the drilling results will be available once we get the assays from hopefully the end of this month, early December, right through to the first quarter of 2022. And the observation of these wide alteration zones, et cetera, give us reason to be optimistic, and particularly optimistic that the Eagle Zone has expanded to the southeast, and we have year-round access, offers potential for a drilling program throughout 2022, and possibly commencing again now in March or April. That's our corporate background. Key point about our company, rather than getting into the details here, is insiders, directors, and officers own 55% of the company. Although we've been around for a while, we've been very prudent in what we do with our funds and issuing capital. And on a fully diluted, we're 141 million shares and working capital at the end of June of 4 million. Thanks very much.